Hey everyone, before we dive in, please hit that subscribe button to join my channel and stay updated with more stories like this one. My mom texted me, "Keep your distance this Christmas, you worthless letdown." The words landed hard as I sat in my car, parked just outside their house. Snow was piling up on the windshield, and the trunk was stuffed with gifts I'd carefully wrapped. No phone call, no reason given, just a single line that shattered 2 decades of doing what I was told. So I didn't step inside. I put the car in reverse, watched their porch blur in the rear view, and drove until the state line faded behind me. The next day, their heat cut off. By evening, their internet was gone. At 9:47 p.m., Mom texted again, "Please make this right." I just grinned, knowing she had no clue what was about to unfold. Before I share the rest, smash that like button and drop a comment with where you're tuning in from. Have you ever had to cut ties with someone who made you feel less than? Your stories show me I'm not alone. I'm Molly Carter, 33, a software consultant based in Austin, Texas. Until last Christmas, I thought being the reliable one was something to take pride in. My whole identity revolved around cleaning up other people's messes. My family made sure of it. Every birthday, holiday, or crisis, I was their first call. Rent overdue. Molly's got it. Broken phone? Molly will cover it. I never pushed back. I convinced myself it was love, even when it felt like duty wrapped in obligation. My parents still live in Missouri, in the same cramped 2-bedroom house where my sister and I grew up. The place smells like stale pine cleaner and scorched coffee. My mom, Margaret, thrives on attention. Her words are honey to outsiders but razor sharp at home. My dad, Robert, was a construction worker until his back gave out. After that, he spent more time grumbling about pain than trying to heal. But it wasn't his injuries that made him cruel, it was his wounded pride. Losing control turned him bitter, and Mom mastered the art of wielding guilt like a second tongue. Then there's my sister, Kayla, 28, training to be a physical therapist. She's bright, charming, and easy to adore, the golden child, but not cruel. She survived by staying under the radar, telling me, "It's simpler to just let Mom have her way." And I did for years, thinking peace was worth choking down my pride. I moved to Austin 6 years ago after scoring a major client, hoping distance would ease things. It didn't. The calls kept coming, following the same script. A stretch of quiet, then a sudden, "Hey, can you cover this?" followed by another bill. I don't recall signing up to pay their gas, electric, internet, or even car insurance, but I became their safety net. They never noticed I was fraying. Still, I kept showing up. Every Christmas, I'd drive 14 hours north, trunk loaded with gifts, heart packed with hope in the glove box. I told myself, this year will be better. It never was. The moment I walked in, a jab was waiting. "You look worn out," from Mom. "Too much screen time," from Dad. Kayla would murmur, "Don't take it personally." But it always stung. Last December felt different, though. Kayla hadn't been home in a while, and we planned to surprise our parents together. I'd bought everything. Winter gear for Dad, a gold necklace for Mom, peppermint cake mix for Kayla. My car smelled like cinnamon and gift wrap. I even wore the silly green sweater Kayla dared me to, with Christmas lights stitched on the sleeves. I wanted to believe it mattered, that maybe this time Mom would just hug me without pointing out something to fix. Then that text came, "Keep your distance this Christmas, you worthless letdown." I was right there, engine idling. No explanation, no mistake, just a deliberate cutting blow. She meant every word, and it worked. I didn't reply. I didn't knock. I backed out of the driveway and let the highway erase the snow behind me. No tears, no screams, just this stillness, like something heavy inside me had finally stopped. That's how I ended up in a dingy motel across the state line. The fluorescent lights buzzed, the heater wheezed, and a gas station sandwich sat untouched on the nightstand. In that cramped room, phone face down, the silence screamed louder than anything. I realized I'd spent my adult life being useful, not loved. Somewhere between the heater's hum and the flicker of Christmas lights outside, I understood that walking away wasn't defeat, it was liberation. The next morning, sunlight slipped through the blinds, unaware the world had shifted. I was still in that green sweater, its stitched bulbs no longer funny, but heavy with every "just help us out" I'd ever agreed to. My phone stayed silent, no apology, no clarification, just the ghost of that text etched in my mind. I brewed coffee in the motel lobby, the kind that tastes like cardboard and grit, and opened my laptop out of habit. For years, my mornings started the same. Log in, check client dashboards, then my parents' bills. Their names littered my auto-pay lists, linked accounts, scheduled transfers. It hit me. Half my digital life belonged to people who'd just called me a failure. The truth was quiet but brutal, like catching your reflection by accident. I stared at the heating account, blinking red, due tomorrow. Then the internet, car insurance, phone plan, all tied to my bank account. I could have let it slide, like always, but something in me had snapped clean through the night before. Cracks don't stay small. They spread until everything holding you together crumbles. Sometimes that's how you find what's beneath. So I called the bank, voice steady, almost courteous. I need to unlink some accounts. The woman asked if I wanted to schedule it or act now. Now, I said. She double-checked. You're certain? Absolutely, I replied. When it was done, I leaned back, the heater's hum filling the room. I braced for guilt or panic. Instead, there was silence, not the kind that stings, but the kind that breathes. I'd confused being needed with being loved. Every payment, every bill was a piece of me sent back to a house that didn't want me. That text from Mom wasn't new. It was just honest. She'd finally said what she'd always meant. I was only worth something when I was useful. Now I wasn't. I opened my inbox, emails piled up like debts, receipts, reminders, renewals. I started canceling them. Heating, internet, car insurance, phone plan. One by one, they vanished from my dashboard until only my accounts remained. My name, my life, my fresh start. My coffee was cold by the time I finished. Outside, snow melted into thin streams under the winter sun. I hadn't realized how small I'd been living, measured in favors and deposits, or how quietly I could exist without carrying anyone else's weight. That morning, I didn't feel small, I felt solid. My phone buzzed once, a text from Kayla with a photo of their dark, undecorated living room. She canceled Christmas, she wrote. Says it's your fault. I stared, not angry, just sad. Kayla didn't deserve that, but I couldn't fix it this time. I typed, I know. Hang in there, then deleted it before sending. Old habits linger. Later, I drove through town, streets alive with families tying trees to car roofs, kids giggling, music pouring from cafe doors. I wondered if they knew how lucky they were to have homes where love wasn't a weapon, where kindness wasn't a transaction. For the first time, I envied strangers more than I missed my family. That night, back at the motel, I sat by the window, laptop open, cursor blinking on an empty page. I didn't know what to write, a letter to Mom, a note to myself, a resignation from the family I'd served since childhood. Instead, I typed 2 words, no more. They glowed in the dark, simple and true. Endings don't always erupt. Sometimes they melt away, quiet and final like frost on a window. As the heater hummed, I felt a warmth I hadn't known in years, knowing I'd stopped trying to earn love. 2 days later, I was in a diner off the interstate, the air thick with the smell of burnt toast and cheap syrup. My laptop was open, but I wasn't working, just clinging to the illusion of control. The way the screen's blue glow made everything seem cleaner. Outside, sleet tapped the windows in a soft rhythm. The world was gray and still. Then the first notification hit. Heating payment failed. I didn't flinch, just watched the screen fade to black, like it had shared a secret meant only for me. 10 minutes later, internet service suspended. An hour after that, car insurance lapsed. Each alert pulsed like a heartbeat I didn't have to carry. I hadn't broken anything or sabotaged them. I just stepped back and their world crumbled on its own. For years, I'd been the unseen foundation holding that house together. Now the supports were gone and the cracks were showing. I pictured Mom pacing the kitchen, wrapped in her old, unwashed robe, her voice sharp, blaming Dad, blaming Kayla, blaming anyone but herself. I could see it, the flickering lamp, the tense silence between their fights, the chill creeping up the stairs without a working furnace. For once, it wasn't my burden. Around noon, Kayla texted, "Power's out. Mom's losing it." She doesn't get why this is happening. I stared at the message, thumb hovering, then locked my phone and set it face down. It buzzed twice more before going quiet. That night, back in my motel room, the final message came at 9:47 p.m. From Mom, "Please fix this." No greeting, no apology, just a plea laced with desperation. I sat on the bed, the heater's low hum steady beside me. The phone's glow lit the room's edges. I thought of every time she'd said "fix this" before, like I was her personal tech support for bad choices. I glanced at the clock, 9:47, and remembered the peppermint scent of the gift still in my trunk, their wrapping curling at the edges. I should have been in their living room, under dim Christmas lights, pretending the pain didn't matter. But I was here, cold but free. I typed one word, "no," then erased it. She didn't deserve even that. I powered off my phone, set it on the nightstand, and listened to the motel's quiet hum. Revenge isn't always loud or fiery. It's often silent, mistaken for peace by everyone else. The next morning, the motel lobby TV droned on about a snowstorm hitting Missouri. I imagined their house, dark, unheated, cloaked in silence. Part of me should have felt guilty, but another part whispered, "This is what boundaries feel like." Later, I drove without a destination. Snow turned to rain past the county line. At a rest stop, I watched gray water ripple across the pavement and turned my phone back on. 32 missed calls, 12 voicemails. The first few were furious, then scared. By the last, Mom's voice was small. "Please, Molly. We don't know what to do." I deleted them without listening to the rest. Climbing back into my car, the air felt lighter. The dashboard lights blinked on. Steady, reliable, mine. For the first time, I realized I didn't need to fix anyone else's chaos to feel like I belonged. I drove until the radio static faded, the hum of tires blending with a quiet voice in my head, one I'd been too scared to hear. "You don't owe them peace when they keep waging war." By mid-January, the silence shifted. It wasn't calm anymore. It was expectant, like the hush before a storm. Kayla called one night, her voice soft, almost sorry. "Something's wrong," she said. "Mom's forgetting things. Dad says she's sick. They're fighting constantly." I didn't know what to say. I'd spent weeks tuning out their chaos, trying to remember what quiet felt like. But part of me still cared, and that part hated itself. "Just stay back," I told her. Days later, an unfamiliar number called. Aunt Lee, calm and direct as always. "Molly, we need to talk." We met at a diner reeking of bleach and bacon grease. She carried a worn manila folder stuffed with papers and slid it across the table without ordering coffee. "I've kept these for years," she said. Inside were my checks, my transfers for their bills, but some were cashed by someone else, not Mom. The signatures were sloppy, masculine, Dad's. "He's been moving money," Aunt Lee said. "Using your mother's name, saying you stopped helping years ago." The diner's noise, clinking forks, chatter, doors creaking, faded to static. He'd told her I'd abandoned them. Aunt Lee nodded. She believed him. Everyone did. My hands shook until she steadied them. "I'm going there this weekend," she said. "You should know what's coming." Saturday came, cold and sharp. Aunt Lee showed up unannounced. Kayla was there, dropping off groceries. Mom opened the door in her robe, eyes distant. Dad looked shocked, then angry, his face masking guilt with authority. Kayla later said Aunt Lee walked in like she owned the place, set the folder on the kitchen table, and said, "We're talking about the money." Dad tried to shut her down. "This isn't your business," but Lee spread out the evidence. Receipts, statements, texts. Proof of every dollar he'd taken, every lie he'd told. Mom sat silent, watching. Her face shifted, confusion, then horror, then grief. "Robert," she said softly, "what did you do?" He muttered, "You don't understand," and stormed to the kitchen, slamming the door so hard the wall photos tilted. For nearly 30 minutes, no one spoke. Then Mom cried, not loud, but broken. She looked at Kayla, then Lee. "Did Molly know?" Kayla said she knows now. That night, Aunt Lee called, her voice weary but firm. "It's done. He's gone. Your mother knows everything. I sat on the motel bed, snow sliding down the window, the room smelling of detergent and quiet. Do they want me back? I asked. Lee paused. She wants to talk. Really talk. I pictured it, the old table, papers scattered, Mom in the ruins of her denial. For a moment, I almost pitied her. But then I remembered her text, "Stay away from Christmas, you worthless letdown," sent without hesitation, slicing me open. She didn't write it because she was deceived. She wrote it because she believed it. I couldn't unfeel that. Tell her I wish her well, I said. But I'm not coming back. Lee sighed. She's trying, Molly. I know, I said. But trying doesn't erase years of looking away. We hung up. I sat in the earned quiet, my phone buzzing once more. Kayla, he's gone. Mom's a wreck. She keeps saying your name. I typed, I'm sorry, then erased it. Opening the motel window, I let the cold air flood in and whispered to the night, you made this, not me. Because sometimes revenge isn't a fight or forgiveness. It's walking away and letting the truth do the work. A week later, the calls stopped. No more unknown numbers, no more voicemails dripping with guilt or anger, just silence. Chaos burns out fast without fuel. I'd rented a small apartment in Austin by then, a simple one-bedroom with creaky floors and morning sunlight spilling across the couch. The quiet felt deserved, not hollow. For the first time, I woke up without someone needing me. No list, no urgent crises. Kayla texted sparingly, she's in therapy. Dad's still gone. It's strange without him. Then one night, a longer message. Mom keeps mentioning you. She's changed. She writes things down now instead of yelling. She said you were right. Love shouldn't hurt like this. I stared until the screen dimmed, caught between relief and exhaustion. Days later, an email from Mom arrived. Subject line, talk. One sentence. I know I failed you, but I never stopped loving you. I read it twice. Once as her daughter, once as the woman who'd stopped bleeding for others. Then I deleted it not from anger, but acceptance. Love, when it's a weapon, isn't love anymore. Kayla didn't get it. She called that weekend. She's trying, Molly. Really trying. I know, I said. Then why not forgive her? I gazed at Austin city lights, soft and far off. Forgiveness doesn't mean going back. I can wish her peace without stepping into the flames. A long pause. You sound cold, Kayla said. Maybe, I replied. Or maybe I finally know what warmth is. After we hung up, I sat with the heater's hum, thinking of Missouri, the pine cleaner smell, the broken vent in my old room, snow tapping the glass. It didn't hurt anymore, it just was. I started running again, took on new clients, filled my place with low-maintenance plants that still grew. When asked about family, I stopped covering for them. We're distant, I'd say simple, honest, true. One evening, as the sky turned orange and purple, I dug out that green Christmas sweater, its stitched lights tucked in my closet. I hadn't meant to keep it. I folded it, set it on the balcony railing, and let the wind carry it. It floated down, twisting, catching on a tree below. The tiny lights glimmered in the fading sun, still trying to shine. That was my final goodbye. Revenge isn't always cinematic. It's quiet, unwitnessed, just peace that doesn't need proving. I poured tea, opened the window, and let the cool air sweep through. Somewhere, my family was learning to live without me, and I was learning to live without them. Silence can be the loudest revenge, not a roar, but a soft, final settling. My parents thought control came from noise, yelling, guilt, endless demands. But real control is choosing not to respond, choosing peace over permission. I don't hate them anymore. Hate keeps you tethered to the story, makes you show up for the next act. I stopped showing up, and the story ended on my terms. Now, when holidays come, I don't drive north or wrap gifts for people who don't value them. I light a candle, brew peppermint tea, and let quiet fill my apartment. That text, "Stay away from Christmas," was the greatest gift Mom ever gave me. Walking away wasn't cruelty, it was survival. If you've ever had to set that boundary, if you've loved someone who only valued your utility, you get it. You're not heartless for guarding your peace. You're just done being burned. If this resonates, drop a comment with where you're listening from. I read everyone, and they remind me my story isn't unique. It's just rarely spoken aloud. Hit like, share this with someone who needs it, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Because sometimes the only way to rebuild your life is to stop fixing everyone else's.